Okay, in this video, in this webcam vid, short webcam vid, we're going to talk about songwriting guitar. Okay, and my suggestion to guitarists who have got a spare guitar is actually get rid of 5 strings and keep one. Which one would you keep? You'd keep the one that's in your vocal range. So Daniel, songwriter, is working with me and he writes good songs. And we discovered that his melodic range is actually from D to D. So I basically found out what his lowest note in his range was, which is this note here, D. And his highest note, comfortably, is D on the 12th fret. Okay, so D, D gives him a 1 octave range. Sometimes he goes up to E, sometimes up to F sharp, D, right? And the bottom note's a D, and sometimes he'll go down to maybe this C sharp on A4, or this B on A2 or A open. But most of the action is between here and there, D open and D12. So that's his vocal range. Now, from a songwriting point of view, you want to think about just working on one string, working your melodies on one string, and playing your melodies on one string. Why would you want to do that? It's because when you play on one string, it's easier to kind of mimic and approximate your vocal range, right? So here on the guitar, there's low D, here's high D. If you thought about when you're singing, right, here's your high D here on 12, and there's your low one. So you might think about the high note as being up around your neck somewhere, and the lowest note is being around your navel, and anything lower is going to go lower than that, right? So you start getting the idea of the string as being a metaphor for your vocal range. So you don't need to think about going across the string guitar and learning all these other notes. It's all along one string, just like your voices. Sorry, all along one string, and it's going to go from low to high. Okay, so from a songwriting point of view, open is low, right, and 12 is high. What tends to happen is most guitar players think that this is low, not quite sure why, and that's high, right, because you're moving away from the neck, don't know. But anyway, that's how it goes. So, low here, high here. Now, for Daniel, all the songs that he's going to write is going to be in his vocal range, right? No use going and sing like Mariah Carey if you don't have that range, or like Paul Robeson if you don't have that range. So here's Daniel's range. So how's he going to get all the variation? He's going to get that by knowing all the different scales that happen between D and D. Let me back the truck up a bit. He, regardless of whether he knows the scales or not, all his melodic action is going to happen between there and there, okay, between D and D. So what he tends to do is he writes the songs and then he tries to figure out where the notes are on the string, right? And that's where the scales come to the rescue. So he can figure out, and all a scale really is a prescribed set of notes, right? Like a menu of notes. So let's start with that. So all his scales, he's going to need to know a bunch of different menus. So the first one we'll start with is D Dorian. And we're not going to get in that theory track at the moment. All D Dorian means is the notes in the scale are D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. No sharps, no flats. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Can you say that? D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Those are the note names. And here they are. D, E, D2, F, D3, G is D5, A is D7, B is D9, C is D10, and D12 is D. Okay, so when you're playing these as a songwriter, you don't need the virtuosity. All you need to know is to be able to find the notes. And same with whether you're using 2 fingers. my advice is initially play with one, right? Because you want to reduce the variables. You want to get one finger used to finding notes that you want. Okay, so use only one finger. You're not trying to be a guitar player, you're trying to be a songwriter, and you're trying to discover where the melody is on the string that you've just written. So Daniel typically finds he'll write a melody, and then he wants to get it down on his guitar and find out where it is. And because he doesn't know the scales he's using, you end up hitting all the wrong notes. And when you hit all the wrong notes, does that make it easier for you to remember the song, the melody that you've just written, or is that a surefire way to lose it? Okay, just asking the question. So D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And for your information, if you're playing chords in the key of C, and you have a vocal range of D, then you're most likely going to be singing in the Dorian scale, right? And all Dorian means it's another form of the C major scale. And from a songwriting point of view, all that concerns us is that these are the notes within your vocal range, and these are the notes that then will be in your melody. So check it out. D Dorian. So two things you want to do is learn the sound, right? Learn the note names, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, and learn the fret numbers. D is D open, E is D2, F is D3, A is D5, B is D7, C is D10, and D is D12. Okay, and you get that thing into your brain, and I tell you, you start cooking with gas, and you know what's happening in the key of C. So that ends this video for D Dorian for songwriting guitar, and this is dedicated to Daniel and everybody else who has a D vocal range. This ends this video, so try it out, and please leave us a comment, and if there's a question, leave the question and we'll do our best to answer it for you. Thanks for watching.